the bullets that we're dodging, hide the bones in the garden, never beg for a pardon. Cash in before the house rules, never break from the ground rules. Got too high off our own fumes. We keep playing with fire, knowing it's a dangerous game. Yeah, we keep playing with fire. They can smell it from a mile away. Got some black market romance, body with a cold hand, crimes no one gets away with. Some sins you can't atone for, like gold you trade your soul for. Had enough but gotta have more. We keep playing with fire, knowing it's a dangerous game. Yeah, we keep playing with fire. They can smell it from a mile away. So we keep playing with fire. Never learn, you never learn. Let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. Let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. Never learn, you never learn. Let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. Never learn, you never. We keep playing with fire, knowing it's a dangerous game. Oh, yeah, we keep playing with fire. They can smell it from a mile away. Yeah, we keep playing with fire.
Happy Friday, February 28th, 2025. It's Chris and Mark with the NWA Exchange podcast, the only podcast you need to listen to know everything about Bella Vista and beyond. Well, boy howdy, it's been one heck of a crazy week. Lots going on in the city and lots going on up in the big DC. Let's get into it right now. Hey, buddy, old pal, old mine, how's it going?
I'm doing good, man. It was just a
Yeah.
crazy day with everything going on. It was like it was like crazy town, man.
It's been a crazy
All
it's
kinds
been
of
a
stuff
crazy
going
week, man. It's been a crazy couple of weeks, but let's be real. Today was like
on.
just what? What? So we're going to get into that a little bit later. I'm sure some of you guys have seen some of the stuff we posted on the podcast today. But, all in all, I had a great day, man. I took time off, and it was my wife's birthday, and we enjoyed the day together, did some things together, and had a nice dinner, and went over to the in-laws, and just all around a good day, man. So, hey, thank you very much for that like, Colton. We appreciate that.
That's cool.
But yeah, man, lots going on this week. We had a city council meeting on Monday. Several key items we're going to talk about. One, it sounds like we're going to start having Zoom abilities for city council meeting. A long ask, a very, very long ask. I can remember talking about this 4 or 5 years ago about modernizing the way that we can engage with our civic leaders, because so many of us work busy lifestyles. Most households are dual working parents. It's really hard to break away sometimes to get in to city council meetings on time. But that being said, hey, lo and behold, there's more than just a couple of people speaking nowadays. And it's not the same people that are coming in and speaking on behalf of, damning STRs or whatnot. It was a variety. So I thought there was some interesting dialogue. And instead of a break today, we're going to go into that. But first, we got to talk about some things you guys can look forward to over the next couple of days. Over to you, Mark.
All right, buddy. NWA home show is taking place. It kicked off today. It's going to be running through the weekend from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get out there, check it out. There's going to be a lot of stuff there. That's located over in Rogers, 3201 Pinnacle Hills Parkway. We have the Bella Vista Litter Patrol. Our friend Wendy Picklesmeyer is having a cleanup this Saturday, March 1st. The newly adopted stretch of Highway 71B, Harps to Wellington and back. So that meet and greet there will be on the upper parking level at Harps Town Center where the lake is there.
Yep.
So that'll start at 10 a.m. Bags and vests will be provided by RDOT. You need to bring your own gloves and pickers if you have them. So
yeah, and it's very much needed, man. It's very like I can't stress enough how the community going out and doing these events is very much needed, man. On the way to dinner tonight, we stopped at that light by Lowe's at that intersection, and just looking over in the ditch, man, I'm just like, what in the heck, man? There's just so much litter these days, man. I don't know. I really don't know what the cause of it is. Maybe, I don't know, the fact that people, had extra trash this week, but there is a lot of litter, and it seems to be an uphill battle. And I have to applaud Wendy and her little group, which is actually growing to be a very big group. And that just says a lot about the people in our community. We actually care where we live. And so shout out to that group of people out there doing that, taking their time. Many hands make light work. So if you're interested, tomorrow, 10 a.m., 404 Town Center.
Yeah, I think that stretch there, Chris, that what they're doing is that's where the heaviest amount of trash I see there. And a lot of it's probably truck trash and what have you, and the wind's blowing it all over the place. But again, it's a great cause. Get out there tomorrow, 10 a.m. So just a reminder, the roundtable is tomorrow too. Building a Better Village roundtable taking place over at the Bella Vista Public Library, 11 Dickens Place. So Wendy Hughes will be there, our city councilor, answering any questions, and should be a good dialogue going on there. So you have two options. You can get out there for a little bit and head over and pick up some trash.
Yeah, bring some coffee and your thinking caps. Discussion will focus on what is your biggest concern regarding Bella Vista and what's your solution? I like the way that she prefaced that. She's open to creative ideas. And I can tell you one thing, man. I did read the article in the Bella Vista guide that came with the paper. Wendy is all in it for the community, and you have to, it's refreshing, to know. I mean, obviously she's been our city council person in Ward 1 for 2 years. She's going on her, this is her third year of her 4-year term. She is so receptive, and there's this one thing that my wife has said is she is responsive. Like she wants to hear from the community. Even when we did that interview with her about how she took the approach for Kelly Strange Street, right? She if she hears something, it's within her realm to investigate or to address. She does it. She's proactive. I love that, and she's forward thinking. She really does care about the community, and she's ingrained in so many areas of our community with our schools, PTO, the library, and now city council. So hats off to her. She, is everything that I could expect from somebody who actually cares about their community and represents the people in the community.
Yeah, totally agree with you, Chris. It's unfortunate that Doug didn't take a lesson there, but
Well,
hey, what are you going to do?
I didn't see no expose on him departure, but there was one in there about Mr. Wozniak and all the years of service that he's given to the community. So again, great people in this community, and we need to applaud the ones that are actually doing the right thing, being actual representative government, and not just turning a blind eye to specific things because, well, it may just, I don't know, serve some better, bigger vision. We see so much happening in Northwest Arkansas in this whole region from Springdale to Bella Vista to Siloam Springs to Gravette and Hiawassee and everywhere in that little bubble area, right? And all this change seems to be it's not organic. It's planned, right? And there's this Northwest Arkansas Regional Planning Commission, which isn't elected, but so many cities have subscribed to this plan. But is that plan actually what the people that live in those cities actually want? I would venture to say probably not. And so we have a lot of city governments that are just subscribing to this plan, and they're making decisions without checking in and checking the pulse of the people and how this may impact them. So I think anytime you can sit down and talk with a representative in your community that is going to be voting and making on these decisions, you should capitalize on those moments. That's all I'm going to say at that.
Yeah, I think most people aren't even aware that they even exist, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really limited exposure,
Yes, it is. All right, man, your favorite time of the night, buddy?
All right, box 10, cost plus, whole and half boneless ribeyes. Oh, sorry.
Nope, go ahead.
All right, buddy. Whole and half boneless ribeyes, $6.55 a pound. Man, that's a steal. 5-pound bag of red potatoes, $1.97 each. Apologize. 73% ground beef, $3.15 a pound. Center cut bone-in pork chops, $1.27 a pound for about a 6-pound package. And chicken drumsticks, 80 cents a pound. I might go in there and get those ribeyes, man.
Yeah.
I got a nice one last time.
I think they also had the Seabest 16 to 20 count Argentine red shrimp for $13.97 each. So those are the bigger ones, right?
Yeah, those aren't easy peel. Those are just the shell on regular. So
nice. Those are good for barbecuing, bro. Those are good for barbecuing. Wrap them with a piece of bacon.
Those are big enough.
Wrap them in a piece of bacon, and they got bacon at boxed in too. It's always fairly priced. Wrap them in a piece of bacon, but take a little piece of jalapeno and some cheddar, and then wrap it in the bacon with the shrimp. Throw that sucker on the smoker, buddy. Oh my gosh, it's candy, man. All right, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna make myself hungry again. And we just finished Smoking Joe's, man. So, all right, man. Well, like I said, we are not going to do a break tonight. We are going to go into the live stream of the Bella Vista regular city council meeting. And like I said, there was, more participation, more public input. And this is one thing I love to see. It means more people are taking an active, taking a role in the civic process. So we're gonna, obviously everybody gets 3 minutes apiece. We're going to listen to these people from our community speaking, and then we'll pontificate a little bit on each one of them.
They did confirm what was already discovered by Bobby, which is it was built well below the minimum standards, and gave us some new information on like the erosion causing our AC unit to go below grade. So we found some new stuff. So, but just want to say thank you to them. But what I'm really here for is to now change gears and talk about the Oz Bike Park. I filled in a lot of questions the last few weeks since it's become public. And I want to address some of those questions, comments, and concerns with y'all. One is short elevation bike parks are quickly becoming a thing in the United States. As someone who just drove 14 hours to get to one a few weeks ago, I can say that they provide a really awesome ride that we do not have anywhere in Northwest Arkansas. Using Hilltop, which is back in Anchorage, Alaska, they are a short elevation bike park as well at only 294 feet. So very similar to what's being offered here. They've sustained year over year growth for the last 3 years, and we're going into our fourth season. And they immediately won over our residents because with the lift assist, it decongested the city streets. And so all of the bike riders who were shuttling up the mountain to get to the top of it were pulled off and they were using the lift. So it was a great thing. For us here specifically, it'll be the decongestion on Oldham, and then the trailhead that's at the top of that where Cunningham and Oldham meet. It just can't hold very many people anyway. So now you'll have a risk of all those riders trying to get across the street and creating a dangerous situation. So a lift assist is crucial. Two is the economic growth. Once I told my friends about it, they've all said the same thing. Can't wait to come. And so being in the mountain bike capital of the world, we now have an opportunity to have an economic impact for Bella Vista. People are going to come here, spend their money to ride the trails and get food, get beverages, all that good stuff. So economic growth. Three, the learning capabilities with this type of riding we cannot get through our normal 105 miles at Bella Vista. And so quantifiably speaking, 1 day on this mountain bike park is equivalent to riding 10 days of our regular trail. So we're going to be able to increase our learning and capabilities for all of our riders. And then finally, I want to leave you with, we have city ordinances. And so any project that goes through, we would like you to follow those city ordinances. Specifically, with this project, we would like paved parking lot and sidewalks. When we get done riding our bikes for the day, we want to be able to ride our bikes safely across the street to Las Fajitas, grab some margaritas and California burritos, and not have to die. So thank you.
Okay. I mean, sure, economic growth. I'm sure, are they going to be charging people for lift tickets? Because that should be a taxable item that the city can reap sales taxes from this, business, right? Paving the parking lots one right there, that's on the developer. That should not be on the city or the taxpayer to do that for any development, correct?
Yeah, I would think so. It's on their property. They should be managing.
Yeah.
I got mixed feelings about this, Chris. I really think this stuff needs to be done in a private venue and not a public venue where you're soliciting information from the city and looking for a buy-in.
Yeah.
It's no different than having a ski resort, right? I mean, they're just taking the taxes from it. They manage it. You manage it all you want, but keep it private. Don't push it on the citizens. I mean, let's be honest. What percentage of the population does this?
Well, I mean, we know we have a large percentage that, have moved here due to, all the STR people. Thank you very much, STR people, for funding the Advertising and Promotion Commission, aka Discover Bella Vista, which has made Bella Vista been discovered, right? And we wouldn't be doing the proper service of not saying thank you very much to the Walton Family Foundation for putting all of these bike trails in, and the POA. Shout out to Tom Judson as well for taking all of our private property and licensing it for all these bike trails. So I believe that we have a pretty decent population that has moved here to ride the trails. It is a destination now for people to vacation to. I know people in Colorado who look forward to coming down here to ride the trails, in the springtime and the fall. So it is a reality. We do have people who are interested in riding here. But the taxpayer, the people who are permanent residents here, should not be funding any type of infrastructure for a private venue like this. That should be part of their development plans, and they should put in their paved parking lots and their access trails, their paved access trails, very much like Kohler, right? Bottom of Thunderdome, you've got the greenway that runs through there, but then they have a little sketch that goes up to the top of Thunderdome. That's provided by the private entity. And the city taxpayer should not be on the hook for that. I mean, we are running in a deficit right now. Hopefully, this planned development that they're doing will bring commercial tax base to us. Again, it's their property. They're allowed to do what they want to do on their property within reason. as long as it meets the city's zoning and safety criteria and all that jazz. Buddy, mute that phone. Just kidding. Do I need to treat you like I did back in the day, man, with the young students being like, oh, man, oh, did you forget to silence your phone while I'm speaking? No, I'm just kidding. No, what I'm saying is it should make sense for the community. It should not be something that is encroaching on people's property. It should not be something that is creating a quality of life issues for people as well. And it should not strain our public resources. So again, a lot of questions. Like a ski resort, you would have your own medical staff, the ski patrol, stuff like that. These are legitimate questions to ask the developer is how are they going to provide the safety aspect, the ambulatory services, et cetera, right? This is let's be real. This is a ski lodge. For mountain bikers. Again, no problem with it. That's your thing. You can do what you want. But it should not be on the taxpayer to supplement that. We're already in that situation with the subsidize that. We're already in that situation with the POA where the POA members are subsidizing a lot of things that have been generally opened up to the general public. So again, we don't want to get into that situation with this, but he brings up some valid points. I want to know what the estimated commercial tax revenue is going to be for this. How does this benefit the city coffers? How does this make sure that we can fund the additional services that we're going to need with the influx of people coming here and potentially getting injured on these trails? Very, very valid concerns. But I appreciate Matt for stepping up and talking to the city councils. This is part of the process, and we need more people to take an active role in talking with their city council members and speaking out publicly. So shout out to Matt for doing that. I appreciate that a lot. We had another one. Sarah, I believe Sarah Costa came in and spoke. I think she's a city employee. Pretty sure she's a city employee. She came and spoke. We got a message here from Matt, actually. Hey, Matt, thanks for watching. The private developer is and will be asking for variances from the city to allow them to put in a gravel parking lot, no sidewalks, and below minimum vegetation. To be clear, it is a private development, yep, and it's requesting the city to ensure the private development adheres to the city building ordinances. Oh, I get where you're coming from, yeah. Especially in your unique situation, right? And that's following the rules to the letter of the rule, right? And requires the development to have and paid for by the developer paved parking lots and sidewalks. Yes. Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Thanks for clarifying that, Matt. We appreciate that. So again, kind of some of the stuff I was saying, right, is the developer should be on the hook for that. The city should make sure that they're following the code and making sure that the developer is actually doing this in a safe manner for people that are going to frequent our lovely Bella Vista. All right.
Yeah, I'm curious on where the entry and exit point will be there because the lights, whether it has to be something RDOT will need to do and reroute something.
I mean, really, I would think that it would, and I'm just thinking outside of the box right now, but like in a lot of like major metropolitan areas, when they do have a pedestrian path, like if you go up to Kansas City, you see it all over the place, right? They have those spanning bridges over the top of the main traffic routes for pedestrians and bikes for non-vehicular traffic. Something like that. When there was rumors flying around that they were going to have a thing over the top of the bike lift was going to go over like the highway, and I'm like, there's no way they're going to do that. What if somebody drops something on a car, right? There's a lot of what if somebody slips off the bike lift and they end up on 71, and luckily that's not luckily that rumor wasn't true, right? But something like a bridge, overpass bridge for pedestrian traffic would make that transition from the bike park. A lot of people are probably going to come down here and camp at Blowing Springs, ride that Mercy Way bridge that was expanded. It would be nice to see a flyover for pedestrian traffic. And I don't know if that's something within the realm of the highway department could probably bring in and fund. I don't know. Again, I'm not a legislator, but I think that that's something that would alleviate that congestion at that intersection, because I can just already envision, showing. And you've been on that intersection after school's out, right?
It's a
But
nightmare.
if you can envision pulling up on that and you've got a whole bunch of people coming from Blowing Springs to go to the bike park, the lift, right?
Yep.
The road's going to be congested with bike traffic and vehicular traffic, and obviously creating that frustration. So there does need to be a common sense solution of how we're going to get people from one side of the highway to the other side of the highway.
Yeah, a regular crosswalk's not going to work in a
Yeah.
4-lane.
No.
It has to be elevated. I know they have the tube enclosures too. That might be a clear option. Have the clear tube enclosures. That might be an option. But then again, you still got to get enough clearance for trucks too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes. Yeah, you do. All right. So another person came in and spoke about a variety of things, and we're just going to go ahead and rock and roll this one and pontificate on it. Here we go.
Hello. Oh, excuse me. Good evening, councilmen, councilwomen, mayor, sir, and attorney Kelly and staff. Everyone, you may recognize me from my involvement with the Bella Vista BZA and PC meetings. However, I'm here as citizen Sarah Jane Costa today. I was initially inspired by Maddie's January address to you as a Bella Vista citizen, and then Mr. Mayor John Flynn, your citizen input about the recent Lannon Drive fiasco was very inspiring. But then on Valentine's Day, Friday night, I responded to a public input survey from Bella Vista's newly elected Travis Hart. And it was a fascinating exchange. I wanted to call out once more to Travis, your vote always matters. It always does. It always has. I feel very strongly about this. You'll have to excuse me if I get emotional. Mr. Harp, sir, why don't you focus more on your heroic efforts for the Gravette Fire Department? It is your background, after all.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
That was raw.
Whoa.
That was just...
Whoa. Okay. Quick lesson in civics right here. People in the community elected a representative. That representative may work for a fire department, may work in, I believe one of them works for a major corporation here, and another one works for another major corporation here. People are allowed to have jobs and serve their public. Telling a city council member that they should not be, focused on Bella Vista issues when they were elected to do so, probably not. Quick lesson in civics. That's all I'm trying to say right here is actually taking an active role in soliciting input from his constituents is what he should be doing. So we'll leave it at that.
Just completely uncalled for.
Yeah, very, very uncalled for.
You stirring in Bella Vista. So far, in my opinion, your leadership is a skunk. It stinks. We all see you and the negative effort you are bringing to the table. Please relax and think before you speak. My citizen opinion only. I'd like to thank you all personally for your great dedication to our city. You are here all for a reason. It's God's plan. Thank you for our brave public agents, firefighters, police, street planning, building, trails, admin, library departments, commissioners, and Mayor Mr. John Flynn. We're very blessed to have such a strong and dedicated team in our city. I share your vision to keep Bella Vista beautiful, natural, and progressive. I'm an Arkansas native, and I've lived in Bella Vista since 2015. About short-term rentals, STRs, there is and always has been a cap of 600 permits. We are actively approaching 150 permits left. Our city's growth is big, exciting, and noteworthy. Do we all agree and love our 600 permit cap? I propose 700, not 800 as initially thought, to consider our housing crisis of today, but we need to also consider our lack of lodging. Professionally rated establishments are lacking in Bella Vista, and you know what? That's okay. 700 represents an enthusiastic vision for our short-term rental community. If you would like to keep and enforce our current 600 cap, I know staff will be hard on applicants after that cap is reached. It'll be a situation that'll be difficult. I can hardly imagine it. A wait list that will be a nightmare, but it's manageable. I'm optimistic for that. If you're on board, I am too. Thanks for your consideration to raise the Bella Vista short-term rental cap to a strict 700. About the Oz Bike Trail, I'm very concerned about safety. Ride at your own risk. There will be more bike-related injuries. If Bella Vista could stamp efforts with the Oz trails, y'all and we could be leaders in safety and rider awareness together. These are just my 2 cents as a Bella Vista citizen. Thank you humbly and respectfully for all your consideration. Thank you.
Lot to unpack there. This is this is appreciate her for coming out and speaking. Obviously, public speaking is it's not easy, right? I know there's probably a lot of nerves in this. Obviously had a prepared statement. Kind of went over a lot of issues. My advice would be to focus on one issue, just from my time of actually doing public speaking with the city council. Stick to one issue, drive that issue in, make sure your voice is clear. It is a little concerning because, this is a city employee from what I understand, with the BZA stuff and all that. And she's speaking as citizen, not employee.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say, Chris, is she really should have disclosed that right at the beginning, before she had that conversation, or if she started talking, really should have been.
She did, but she did it kind of indirectly, with, like, many of you may notice or, have seen me at these meetings. I believe that she works in CDS. It sounds to me like CDS is trying to strong arm one of our city council people for actually asking questions about this, the ability to cite people, the expansion of policing powers. I don't know. There's a lot to unpack on this one. I'm going to do more research on what's what with this. Okay, here we go in the comments. Got a couple of comments. What job is she sucking up for? Thank you, Peter, for the comment. And Michelle Shako, hey, Michelle, good to see you. She does the STR permits. Oh, okay. So obviously increasing the cap to 800, boy, that further solidifies the job, right? Again, a lot to unpack on this one. I don't want to go into, I don't want to go too far in the weeds on this one, because the next speaker is actually talking about the Friends of the Library situation. But go ahead and talk a little bit, Mark, and let me know what your thoughts are.
My question with the STRs is, and maybe Michelle can answer this, is when a STR, a licensed STR house ends up selling, does that run with the next owner is the question, I guess, is what I'm asking. Or do they have to reapply to get that license? Because it would seem to me that they would have to go back and reapply, and it seems that people
upon sale, you would think upon a title transfer, that the permit should automatically cancel, because the new person should have to apply. But I don't know. Yeah, Michelle just basically said the new owner would need to reapply. So
okay.
It makes sense. It does make sense.
That would void it. Now, it's a possibility they could get squeezed out at the end of the day. So you're not really grandfathered in.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Well,
thanks, Michelle.
But yeah, again, awesome to see more people engaging and speaking their minds to their elected leaders. Again, probably, I'm not going to say it's probably the first time, but definitely nerves. I can remember the first time I had to speak, man. It was about the stump dump, and I was really in some nerves, but also like ticked off because of my family being damaged by that. So again, I can empathize with the emotions and the kind of talking fast and trying to blast through everything in your prepared statement. Like I said, the advice that I would give to Sarah Jane Costa, I think is what she said her name was. I would encourage her to focus on one issue or a couple of issues, but not glom like a multitude of issues and into it. Be my advice if you want to continue to do this. And I do encourage everybody. It doesn't matter if you work for the city or not. I encourage everybody to go in. We do that all the time on the podcast. We encourage everybody. If you want to go in and sing "God Bless America" for 3 minutes, go ahead. You want to sing Yankee Doodle? Go ahead. It's your 3 minutes to address your city council. Go out there on the YouTubes and find Primetime 99 Alex Stein and look at some of the stuff he does, okay? Look, great. I know y'all ain't going to get that crazy, right? But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's your 3 minutes, and this is your time. So take part in the process. All right. And we'll go to the third speaker.
Appreciate it. The next speaker is Lori Trotwine of 7 Knox Lane.
Good evening. I'm here to talk.
Oh, there was a
about the
fourth speaker. I
library.
forgot. Linda Lloyd.
On December 23rd, there was a Facebook post regarding the garden and a picture posted where it had been completely mowed down. And this is Facebook, so I called the library to find out what was going on. I spoke to Suzanne Adams. I believe she's the library manager. She said that they had cut down 2 burning bushes because of scale, which is a disease that is treatable. And that was all that was being done. There was going to be a little bit more maintenance in that front bed, but nothing was going to be done on the side bed. I get over there a week later. Everything had been decimated in the front bed, and the side bed had also been cut back to within an inch of its life. You don't do that in December. You're going to kill the plants. They're just not going to survive the winter. After a little bit of research, we found out that the volunteers had decided to no longer maintain the gardens. I've heard different versions of why, but that they offered to continue to maintain until another source of maintenance was provided. And they were told, no, you're out of here. 1 week, you're gone. All right, well, that's the gardens. And then on January 28th, Encore Bookstore is given notice to vacate. Apparently, there had been some sort of negotiations versus a lease versus a MOU. I don't, again, know the background of all of this because I'm reading about it on Facebook. I'm not hearing about it from the city council. I'm not seeing articles in the newspaper.
I'm going to pause real quick because we've talked about this one, about basically transparency in government and really the mayor basically letting the newly elected city council get blindsided by this, shockwave of news because of internal decisions being made and really what I would consider failure to compromise, failure to use common sense, failure to negotiate. And that took place, from a unilateral point. We've talked about this on the previous podcast. If you guys go back and look, feel free to go back and look on the Facebook and you can find it. But, again, the community wasn't made aware of this until the Friends of the Library actually made everybody aware because they had to do their basically fire sale to vacate because they had a lawful order to vacate. So again, being transparent with the city council. So whenever somebody calls them, because rarely does the mayor ever pick up the phone when somebody calls. We've heard him say in work sessions, you don't have to answer every phone call or every email. Tis what it is. All right, I'll stop.
No, it just rolls back up to the top.
You can't
It's a leadership.
on Facebook for truth. So I don't know what's going on. I do know that they donated something like $1,200 a week. They provided the bulk of the money for the addition. And now all of that money is gone. And then I read in the newspaper finally on the 20th that Marianne Farner is resigning from the board, the library board, which she'd been part of since 2014. There was also a number of other members that were resigning that had been involved in the board. All of this is going on behind closed doors.
Yep.
I don't think city council knows half of what's happened. I know the public doesn't know. I don't know how much of this has to do with the hybrid ownership management of who owns the library, who owns the grounds, who pays the salaries. But this is crazy. Who is going to make up the difference of what Encore have been providing?
You are.
Is that
We
now gonna
are.
come to taxes? Or are we going to have to come up with a different volunteer? And who would want to volunteer if everything is up in the air all the time? I don't know whether it's management or leadership or what is happening, but this needs to be addressed.
It does. It
Thank you.
does.
Thank you.
All right, man. Well, again, man, a lot going on, and I'm happy to see multiple viewpoints being spoke out at the city council. I was unfortunately sick. I got sick on Sunday, and I was sick on Monday, and I was sick on Tuesday, and I started feeling a little bit better on Wednesday, and well, here we are today. And I am feeling, probably about 95% better, man. Boy, I tell you what, man, it's been a minute since I've had a fever, dude, and that really kicked my butt. But I was watching from home, and I was watching intently. And that being said, Linda Lloyd did speak, basically just to, once again try to, tell everybody why she's qualified to be on the city planning commission. The mayor did reappoint her and I believe Mr. Wagnon to the planning commission. That was voted through. They did use the new rules to vote for one and then vote for the second person versus the way they can create that kind of separation because one person might be. I was a little interested in the way the vote went for Linda Lloyd, given the conflict of interest when somebody's actively trying to develop a cottage community in the community and then making decisions which can directly impact the success or the failure of their planned development. There is a conflict of interest there, and I was surprised that it was yes across the board. It is what it is. Again, that's each one of the city council's prerogative to vote that way if they want. Just remember that people are watching. Then we move along, and there was some discussion regarding. Let's see if we can find it real quick. The official statement after a few months of the whole library debacle being made from the mayor. Again, I don't know. 2 months later, I don't know. I don't believe that it's authentic. I believe it's just a statement to appease the legal requirements. Let's see. We've got
The problem is we've seen this pattern time and time again, and not disclosing this information to the people of Bella Vista.
Right.
I mean, it's
Yes.
I could say a half dozen times already, at least.
Yeah.
That's conservative.
Another point of interest on this was the movement for the proposed ordinance to provide community development services, policing, and citation abilities. Very interesting interaction. I encourage everybody to go and watch this on either Bella Vista Community Television's YouTube or watch it on LIBV TV. But I was, after they read the ordinance, Larry Williams was quick draw McGraw, man. And he was like, move to third and final. And this is what concerned me a little bit is that Shay Newport actually seconded that to try to ram through something, which, clearly Travis Harp had a lot to say about it. He's done his legwork. He's reached out to other cities. He's reached out to Little Rock. No other cities are doing this. I believe that this will create a liability to be sued. We've seen a CDS employee come in and berate one of our city council members and then sit there and be a cheerleader for all the fine things that the city is doing. Kind of creates like a list, like we worship the government vibe. That's just me. That's the way I'm reading the room. But now that we want to force something through that doesn't even model any other cities, it's very concerning. It really makes me wonder what the heck's going on in that community development services.
Cash flow problem.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I'm going to do more digging. I'm going to do more research. It's what I do over here, it's a hobby. Data is data, right? Data is data, and establishing patterns in data is I don't know, it's a hobby. Call it what it is. But again, I encourage everybody to go out there and read it. But one thing that I said I'm very excited about is Anna Isbell put forth a proposal to be allowed to attend city council meetings virtually 4 times a year, up to 4 times a year. They're all professionals. They obviously work remote sometimes and have to do remote meetings. This is not, it's no brainer. The city is set up to do that. This courtroom that we all paid for was actually set up to do virtual arraignments and stuff. So the technology is there. It's not going to be an additional cost. The only additional cost that's actually being considered right now is something to support the 501(c) nonprofit, Bella Vista Community TV, for their production value. Again, 501(c) can bring in their cameras and have all the production value that they want. The taxpayer should not be funding that because the courtroom was set up to do this. Okay, that's my 2 cents on that. But I am stoked that it passed. Councilman Harp, Councilwoman Wendy Hughes, Councilwoman Shay Newport, and Councilwoman Anna Isbell all voted for it. The 2 nays were Larry Wilms and Craig Honchell. So again, some people want to actually make access to city council meetings more available, and some people want to operate in that echo chamber. And I'll let you guys kind of figure that one out for yourself. But I like this idea. I'm glad that it passed, and I look forward to it. And I look forward to actually using it. Because again, I was sick on Monday. I had a lot to say, but I couldn't do it because I was sick, and I actually didn't want to get anybody else sick. So, all right, man. Well, we've talked enough about the city. Now it's time to go. Shift gears, buddy. We're going there.
Shift
Everybody saw it. I'm sure everybody has heard about it or saw it at some point. If you haven't, we're just going to go into about, I don't know, a few minutes of a meeting that took place in the White House with Zelensky and JD Vance and Donald Trump. And we're gonna get right into it. Here we go. So there was a meeting, big meeting. Dude, I looked at the live stream and I'm like, it's just showing like outside the White House for like 2 hours. 2 hours later, finally, some conversation started happening, and here we go, man. It got heated. It got heated a little bit. Now let's just all go back down a trip down memory lane. Every time this man, President Zelensky of Ukraine, shows up, he walks away with a bag of cash or one of those big bonus lottery checks, or I won the race checks, right? There's really no telling how much money has actually made it to him, but we know that the American taxpayer has funded a lot in this. And basically there was no like, it's a loan like the, Europe did whenever they gave them money. You have to pay this back. It's a loan. No, it's just it's like your kid, man. You give your kid, a couple dollars here to go to play in the arcade, and they run back and they want a couple more dollars, and you just keep on shoveling out. At what point do you say, wait a minute, kid, when you I can't just keep on giving you money into perpetuity, right? That's kind of the mindset that I'm reading in here, but like, it's like, this really feels like JD Vance had a lot to say, and Zelensky was like pushing back, and then you got the president sitting here right in the middle of this, watching the two youngsters go at it, and finally, so we're gonna play some of this.
This is just a perfect reason to not be able to read the room, man.
Yes. Yeah, well, he wasn't reading the room, man, at all. But here we go, man.
JD, you are speaking about what do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are not strong...
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You
God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell.
That was a weird play right there, man.
was a flex. It was a hard flex right there, man.
That was weird. That was a weird one right there. Basically, he's like, well, you'll feel it. You have this ocean, but you'll feel it. And then he continues to double down on this. And it really felt like a veiled threat, maybe. It very weird. And I'm just going to stop there.
Yeah, my thing here is
We're trying to
Hold
solve a
on.
problem.
Sorry, my bad.
No,
What?
go ahead,
Go ahead.
go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
No.
No, tell me what you got on your mind, buddy.
I just, you look at the way they're sitting. Look at the way Zelensky with his arms crossed.
Yeah, it's posturing.
He's just
It's posturing.
Yeah, he's posturing, and he's just saying, like, listen, I'm not taking this. I'm not. I mean, he's lost his mind, man. I mean, he could have been passive and said, hey, listen, we'll work something out, and got out of there. But it just escalates, and he's unable to keep control of the situation,
Yes. Yep.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on
position
this
to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
he's doing.
Not
You're
dictate.
in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You'll feel
You're right now
influence?
not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From
it.
the very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a
Brown,
good position.
I
You
was
don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards. But
cards.
right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
Yeah, you're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
What are you
You're
thinking about?
gambling with
What are you
World
thinking
War III. And
You-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to
respect to
you.
your
Far
party.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot
Entire
of times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
you said thank you.
Even today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for
What-
the United States
what
of
are you speaking
America
about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Let's back up a little bit. Let's take a trip down history, memory lane and history lane, right? And he addressed the House of Congress, man. Remember whenever they puppeted him
Yeah.
up to into the chambers
Yeah.
of the Congress?
Yeah.
Okay, something wrong. Also, where's the media coverage of all this chaos that's been going on in Ukraine? And it's been media blackout, hadn't it? But all this
Oh, yeah.
money's just going over there, right? All this money.
Yeah.
Where's the press corps over there? All this money's
Another
been
thing
going
people
over
don't-
there, though, hadn't it?
Another thing I'm troubled with is the fact that his term's expired. He's not legitimately the president.
No, he suspended. He
anymore.
suspended
Yeah,
elections due to the war.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then wants to come in here and be like, "Well, we need your money." And he's waffled so many times on this deal, right?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
deal for minerals. I would be skeptical of the guy too, and so they're clearly reading the situation properly. And I got a comment here. You really need to have the previous 15 seconds. Look, if somebody wants to watch the previous 15 seconds, they can go out on YouTube and watch the whole video in its entirety. I'm
Yeah, I
pointing
watched
out
the- I
the
watched the whole
situation
thing.
at hand right here, where we've got a foreign president in our White House trying to basically demand his entitlement payment for all the hard work he's done. Hard work on who? On behalf of who? You just can't just walk in and expect to get cash. Somebody said, "Oh, it's tacky." We're going to get to this joke I posted earlier, and people are like, "It's tacky." Showing up to the White House feeling like you're entitled to anything is tacky.
He was looking for that $250 billion check, man.
Yeah. So let's it continues to go on for a few more minutes, and I'm going to let this one
You
play.
think
Man.
that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can.
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country is
Can I-
in big
can-
trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a
answer?
lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about West
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this, I tell you.
Say thank you.
I said a lot of times thank you to American people.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on. I think it's very important. That's why I kept this
I do
going so
too.
long.
I do too.
You know, you have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't- don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low
Brad.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
Brad.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
that
what
wasn't
this
with me.
nation- it
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden who
Ask our people about a ceasefire and what they would think. Dude, you're the president, man.
Yeah.
You're the president, right? You're the president. If you're going to save people's lives, that's your call. Look, we have people in our own country who are ideologically set against what our country's values are.
Yeah.
And those decisions are being made regardless of, look, we can appreciate your stance, but this is what's best for our nation. Right?
So, I mean, I don't know what's going on here, but it just seems to me that he could care less about the $250 billion. Now, I don't know if the European Union's going to back him, who's going to back him, but at the end of the day, millions of people lost their lives, man.
Yeah.
Russians and Ukrainians.
Yeah.
And
economies have been jacked up, and the deficit has gone up, and nothing has gotten better. There's not, like, this is another one of those endless wars, right? Until what? The money dries up?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to get to the point if he doesn't get it, if he doesn't get money and be able to stop, Russia's going to come in full force, man.
Dude, we got so many Americans who are just struggling paycheck to paycheck these days. We got debt that's just crazy, and we got unaffordable housing. We got people that are homeless. We got a whole generation of people who basically are unemployable and not fit to serve in the military, right? I don't know. I think we got some problems at home that, I don't know, $350 billion could actually be solving problems for our people, strengthening our nation so that we can actually, support people and help nations that are actually being oppressed. But just throwing all this money away willy-nilly for the past 4 years makes no damn sense. None. Because nothing has changed. It is a grift. It is 100% a grift.
Well, he's unable to account for the monies. He's telling us, what do you say? Only got 70%.
Meanwhile, they have mansions and yachts and super yachts and all this, like their generals are profiting left and right. I mean, like, that's our money. That's our money. That's our money.
It's a huge grift. Like we see this all over the place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is what this is.
Looks like we got about 2.5 more minutes of this. I want to get to the sauce. There's some secret sauce, and it's when he talks about sheets and javelins.
not a smart person.
That was with Obama. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make because the attitudes have to change.
Yeah.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do we do then? I understand that.
Stupid question.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it?
Dude, see, this is what I like. It's like we can get into this whataboutism bubble,
Yeah,
right?
but it's
What
not-
about
yeah.
bubble? We can get into that bubble, but that's not the reality. And he
Right.
he does a very good job of articulating. You know, look, again, some people are probably like, "Oh, these guys are Trump fanboys." No, we're American fanboys over here, right? Trust me. If Trump does something dumb, he's going to do something dumb, and we're going to drag him. You know, we'll drag him for his decision, right? The Pam Bondi thing this week really
Well,
starting to question his decision to hire her, right?
Yeah.
Given the
She
fact
took some heat after.
that 4 years ago, was it 4? No, it's probably 6 years ago. She was actually advocating for red flag laws.
Yeah.
Right. Let's think about that one, right? You know, leopards don't change their spots. And then this whole release of the Epstein files and then everything in the book, those binders, that was propaganda, and everything's redacted in them. And it's all information that was already released. So again, he makes some decisions, but you know, overall, I can't argue with this dialogue at all because of the posturing and the entitlement mentality of, you know, the Ukrainian president. Again, and then you're sitting in, like, nobody comes into your house, right? Let's just be real, man. Nobody comes into your house and makes demands of you in your own house, right?
Yeah.
All right.
With Biden,
So-
because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia.
Yeah.
Russia.
Remember
You ever
that?
hear of that deal? That was
Yep.
a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he
Yeah.
went through it. He was
Could've.
accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And
It's
that's
like he's
not a
talking
nice
to a
thing.
kid.
Dude, I'm looking at his face, man. It's like when you got like that 19, 20-year-old who's failed to launch from the house, right? And they're just sitting there like just, you know, they're running up your internet bill, they're eating all your food, and then you're like, buddy, you got to get out there and start adulting.
You're chastising him because he went and got dessert before dinner,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Well,
You
it's
know
like,
what I mean?
you know what I'm saying? No, it's like, son, your mom and I have been talking, and it's time for you to move out. You know, like, it's really what it feels like, dude.
There's no
Look,
more
the look on
allowance.
his face, he's like, oh crap, I've lost my, I have to go out
Yeah.
and actually work.
Yeah, he's
You know?
he imploded right here.
Yeah. And you know, Teflon Don doing what he does, man.
Well,
I'll be
not only
honest,
that,
that's not a nice thing.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
not only that, but the government of Ukraine right now is working on impeachment.
Yes, I saw that too. I think you sent that over that because of this transaction that took place in the
Yeah.
White House, the Ukrainian parliament has actually started circulating impeachment proceedings due to his behavior. It's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out.
I think we've seen enough. What do you think, huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right. We'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thank you.
All right, man. Well, you know, also some people from the gaggle actually asking President Zelensky some pointed questions too. This one I liked.
Question.
Yeah.
Do you ever? Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. I just want to see if you do you own a suit.
You have problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not
Really?
respecting.
I don't have
the
such.
office.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe something like this.
something like
Yes,
yours.
sir.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Look at the room. Read the room, man. Everybody in the room's like, this is all a fabrication. That's what I'm starting to think, man. It's just been one big grift.
I think he really thought he was going to come in and he was going to get more money, dude. That's what I thought he was going to do. He thought he was going to come in and grab another check and fly it back out.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that all took place before lunch at the White House. Okay. And I'm sure, well, we actually have some special footage of what took place after lunch at the White House. We're gonna get into that here in a second, but I just want you all to take a moment of pause and just digest everything you just heard. And again, these are our opinions. Our opinions don't represent anything other than our opinions, but we like to have healthy adult dialogue. There's a phone number up on the screen. There's chat. We always try to respond with you. Our emails are up on the screen. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any, constructive criticism. Be an adult, right? I'll be an adult with you if you can be an adult with me. I can be an ass with you if you're going to be an ass with me too. Very, very skilled in that skill set. But, now is the time for critical thinking skills, right? Nothing that this administration is doing is that I believe is they're trying to bring our money back to us. We see how much damage has been done to our nation. Dude, I mean, you remember back in the 80s, man, riding your bikes till the sun went down and just having the heck of a time during the summertime as kids, man. And like now, we're in such a state of crisis that we don't even trust our kid to go out to the mailbox and pick it up for fear that something's going to happen to them, right? That's not a safe nation. We've got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of cleaning up to do, and spring's around the corner. And that's how I'm looking at this. There's a lot of spring cleaning going on. Yeah, decisions are being made. Some decisions are being really made hard and heavy-handed. But you watch what happened with the decisions during COVID for the military forces to not honor those religious exemptions and terminate their service. This administration realizes that some dumb decisions were being made, and they reinstated that. So again, treat everything with a little bit of grace, treat it with grace, but have that healthy skepticism about decisions being made too. That's the adult thing to do. Don't blindly trust, verify stuff, question it. I think, Mark, you and we're from that generation. We question everything. We do question everything.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. I don't know what to say with that back and forth. You know what I mean?
It was weird. But I'm glad it was televised. I'm very glad it was televised, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah, I think over the next few weeks, it's going to be one thing after another. But this is what happens. You have to go through the pain of getting this stuff fixed.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
And we know this was even jacked up when he was president, the 45th, from 16 to 20. You know what I mean? He wasn't even aware of the stuff that was going on. So this goes pretty far back, even prior to that. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done here, in all departments.
Yeah.
And I think you made a great point, is the fact that let's take that money and bring it back and help our own citizens.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, it's noble to think that we can go out and help other countries. It's noble that we can provide foreign aid for programs in other countries to enhance the quality of life for those nations, but you can't do that and run a deficit. You can do that with the surplus. You can't do it with a deficit. Anything less than if you're running a deficit and people are your own people are struggling, then basically you turn in your own people into serfs, slaves, whatever you want to call it. And that's just how I feel.
I think I heard someone say this too, and the fact that we're a very generous country. We send money to hundreds of countries. And he said, then he basically said, how many countries are sending money back to us, or any other countries from that matter?
Yeah.
We've always been the beacon of light, but at the end of the day, there's no reciprocation. I think at this point, and I agree with Donald Trump on this. I believe that they have to have skin in the game. You have to have chips.
Yes.
And I think that's what's happening with Canada. And Mexico's a different situation right now because you got the cartels. That's a whole different animal.
It is.
But we need to be paid, man. We need to be the investment that's putting in, and when we're putting out, we need some return for it.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, you have to think about generations that have, signed that check, enlisted and fought wars. Generations upon generations. I mean, I'm veteran. My dad was a veteran. My grandfather was a veteran. My great grandfather was a veteran. Right? We believe in something in this nation, and we are the best nation, and that's not being arrogant or anything like that. This nation is one of the young. We're the baby in the crowd, man. We're the baby, and we rose to the top.
And the other thing is, I still believe the money that's coming back, some of that has to be taken care of for people that were injured and vaccines. People died, man.
That's a whole other ball of wax that'll probably get this podcast flagged, man.
I know, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. I know.
People need to be made whole.
Bob over at the White House came back with the footage from the post-lunch party, right? They were continuing negotiations, and we're going to cut right over to this, man. And then we got a couple of polls that we did publish this week, and we encourage everybody to take part in these polls that we're putting out there. But without further ado, man, negotiations after lunch at the White House.
My name is Volodymyr Zelensky. You're probably wondering how I got here.
Yeah, we know how you got there. You couldn't shut your mouth, man.
All right. And we're going to go over to the polls. So I did post some polls yesterday, and I would love everybody's feedback. And don't forget to put in comments of why you feel that way, why you voted that way. But after 2 months, do you approve of the job of Councilmember Harp is doing? 100% of respondents, bang, 0 said no.
That's good.
After 2 months, do you approve of the job of Councilmember Newport is doing? 100% of respondents said yes. Again, go out there and participate in these polls. And after 2 months, do you approve of the job that Councilmember Isbell is doing? And 100% of respondents said yes. I'm loving seeing that people actually like professionals, people that are critical thinkers, people that actually are receptive to input, actually doing the job that they were elected to do. So again, if you have any thoughts on polls that you'd like to see, shoot them over to us. Again, our emails are always up. But I think that is a podcast. We did go a little bit over 10 minutes. I'm sorry, guys, but you know what? A lot to unpack in this one. But at the end of the day, we're your neighbors. We're your we're your friends. Like, there's nothing that you can really do over here that's going to rattle us. If you want us to dig into something, shoot us an email. If you want to have a sit down, shoot us an email. We're receptive. We're open. This is a platform for the people of Bella Vista and the people of Northwest Arkansas, the surrounding communities of Bella Vista. This is what this is for. We know we have social media groups that like to control the narrative, censor people. Meanwhile, they're accepting money from businesses to shut down other businesses from advertising. We do have our newly created Bella Vista Unfiltered group. I encourage everybody to join that. It is a free speech platform. Keep it professional. Keep it adult. I know adulting's hard, but you know what? It's social media. People get too empowered over, being keyboard warriors and all that. Look, this is a platform for us to talk as actual adults and residents and changes that we're all going through. We're at a pivotal point of life in Bella Vista, right? And things are going to change, but we need to actually have the emotional intelligence to speak our minds so it makes sense to others. All right. Final thoughts, Mark?
Yeah, everybody, appreciate you tuning in tonight. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Till the next one, stay happy, healthy, humble. Be nice to everybody when you're out and about perusing the world. You never know what somebody's going through. I know times are challenging, times are hard. You never know what mental state somebody's in. So just be kind to one another when you're out there. Until the next one, we'll catch you later. We're out.